Hi, and welcome to another episode of Lids Off. I am your host, Bo Snow. I'm joined with another guest today. But before we get started and I introduce you to this fantastic person, I'm going to start with the news. And there's only one item, to be honest, which is congratulations to the Shield Maidens. They got their first touchdown and their first win against the Bears. So congratulations. I'll be the first one to say they definitely deserved it. They played better football. They wanted it more. And just knowing all the intention of football that went into it, from every single person on the team and the coaching staff, from Ren and the coaches, like, congratulations, guys. Like, I'm really, really proud of you guys. Sorry I could not celebrate with you. Sadly, I am concussed. So I've got myself a cheeky grade 2 concussion. So if there is a little bit of pausing in between filming, it is because I am slightly lagging in brain. But with that all being said, let my fabulous new guest introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Cleo. I play for the Kent Exiles on the QB.
Nice. And your age and pronouns?
I'm 28, and they, them, she, her, whatever, as long as it's said with love.
I really like that. I really like that. I've not heard that before. That's awesome. So when it comes to like affirmations and stuff, are you okay with like feminine affirmations like queen, or do you prefer like neutral ones?
Whatever. Like I said, as long as it's not said in a derogatory way, I'm happy with anything.
Beautiful. So let's get started right at the beginning. How did football find you, Cleo?
Football literally found me completely by accident. So I went for a dog walk in Tatton Hall.
No way.
Yeah. Back in, when was that? 2021, maybe? Yeah, I think so. And we walked past the field where the Bears were training, and I could not believe my eyes. Did we accidentally just walk past the women's American football team? I thought there's no chance that that's just happened by accident. So I thought it was a bit of fate. I had to message someone and see what was up. I went to a few training sessions, went and got concussed on my first game, so snap.
Excellent.
And just got the bug like straight away. I mean, I've watched it for a long time, but playing it is like a whole different level. So yeah.
So how long have you been watching football for? And who
I'd
do you support most importantly?
The Saints. Yeah.
Oh God, another one of yous.
Yeah,
You're everywhere.
I know. Multiplying. 2018, I reckon. I watched the Super Bowl because everyone always gets into it by watching the Super Bowl. Someone drags you along to the Super Bowl, and then you go, "Oh, this is actually quite good." And I think it was the year the Ravens played the 49ers, where Beyonce was doing the halftime show.
Nice.
I think the whole thing. I don't think I looked away from the screen for like the whole 6 hours. It was crazy. And yeah, from then on, I was just like, right, I need a team. I need to know what I'm doing, and it all fell into place.
So were you like at an event, or were you watching it at home with friends, or?
No, I was like, where was I? I was in the pub, I think, with some friends just before I went to uni. So
That's
yeah,
early hours. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So what was it about football that kind of got you? Because I know like a lot of people can just watch the halftime show and be like, oh, okay, but what was it about the sport that kind of got you hooked?
I think the mental side of it, not just like how like resilient and strong you have to be, but also like how do you come up with better tactics than your opposition? How do you think one step ahead of them all the time so that you can try and find a way and stop them from finding a way? It's a very like, it's almost like chess, but like with people, and it's you're constantly thinking about, if this person does this and this person does this, and there'll be gaps here and here and here, and it's just that for me was like so unique as a sport, because it's like there's not many where you just watch it and a lot of the time, like football or tennis or whatever, you're just watching a ball go backward and forward, aren't you? So obviously the skill involved is amazing, but it's not particularly like mentally, like every single person has to do a certain job in order for this to work. So I just thought that was really cool. Yeah.
So had you played any sports or kind of followed any sports before American football?
Played tennis and football my whole life, which is
No
ironic.
way.
But yeah. So I mean, I love team sports more, I think, than individual sports, mostly because mentally I can get a bit in my head when I play sports, and when you've
Okay.
got a team around you, they can really rally and like get you out of your head, and you're part of something bigger than just yourself.
Yeah.
So I let go of tennis a while ago because that wasn't working for me. But yeah, football, played a bit of rugby, so yeah, enjoyed it.
Nice. Okay. So you were you nervous kind of turning up to your first training session, or were you just, because sport's been a part of your life that you were like, oh, I'm okay with that?
I think when I turned up to the Bears, the first session I did, I was absolutely bricking it. I was really like, I think I had a lot of expectation and hope that it was going to be like something that I could do for a long time, that I would
Yeah.
really enjoy. And, I kind of wanted to be good, and I had no idea if I was going to be good because it's a completely different sport. So, yeah, but I mean, it went absolutely fine. The girls were absolutely amazing. They were so kind. The coaches were fantastic. And I think that's sort of something that you get every team in this league, in the women's, in the nines and the sevens. Like, they're just all wonderful, and they just want you to be happy and just play your best football and enjoy it.
Mm.
So yeah, when I came down to Kent and I moved home and I joined the Exiles, the same sort of thing. I was bricking it, but they were all so lovely that yeah, it was fine in the end.
So you play QB for Exiles.
hmm
What were you playing when you first started as a rookie? Because I did a cheeky stalk of your Instagram and saw that you did a post about playing running back. Had
Yeah,
you
that
always
was.
played offense, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I think I played running back at the time because the Bears, I think they just lost two running backs to injury, so they were like, "Why don't you try running back?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool." And then just seeing all these broken people on the sidelines, like, "Don't do it." um, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. But it wasn't. I don't think it was like maybe quite my skill set, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Uh,
okay.
so so then yeah, when I moved down to Exiles, they had an opening in the QB position, which we kind of split. Me and a friend of mine who doesn't play for the Exiles anymore. She's from Norway. We split the role 50-50. And then last season, I didn't really have a position. I was kind of backup QB, backup wide receiver.
Okay.
And then this season, our QB moved up to nines and is now playing for Peterborough. So they asked me to step up and if I wanted it. So it was there for the taking, I guess.
QB is like a big fucking role, though. Like, it is a lot. There is a lot more than just knowing plays and stuff. Like, you are reading like a million things at once. So, did you go from like, because that is such like a mental shift? Like, was it a natural thing for you, or did you have to kind of get your head around it? Was it the coaching? What was it?
I think I'll give Vicky Lucas a shout out here because she was injured the first season I started, but she taught me everything I know, and she's a great QB. So shout out to her. But also, I think it was a combination of, it suited me better because it was so mental. Like I was saying earlier, like I love that side of the game. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think I'm particularly like big or fast or strong, but I think I can read things because I like doing it. It's like it just makes me happy. I enjoy it. I sit at home and watch football over and over again until I understand exactly what every single person has done and why they've done it. So for me, it clicked as soon as I started.
Yeah.
Um, but like learning how to do the other stuff, so like the throw in, the running that out, getting out of the pocket, staying in the pocket, trying to avoid the blitz, all that stuff I had to learn over time, and that was yeah, still learning. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that the mental thing was more of a kind of, I wouldn't say easier, but a more comfortable transition because it's something you're more intrigued with?
Yeah. I think it suits my personality. I think it's just one of those things where I like to take things apart and see how they work. So for this sport, the QB really, or the safety if you're on defense. So it's it was always going to be one of those roles I think that I wanted to do.
Okay. So what has been your biggest challenge physically since joining kind of the QB position? Has it been the rolling out the pocket, or has it been the arm? What's it been for you?
I think sometimes I can get carried away with reading the game and trying to predict things that maybe I don't always get my footwork right. I think I get a little bit overexcited if I'm honest. I'm like a little kid. I see an opening and I think, oh my god, there we go. But then also you have to go through a bunch of steps to get, the ball to go where you want it to go. It doesn't just happen naturally. So I think that's the biggest thing, like patience, like trying to calm myself down, trying to go through the steps, do it in a methodical order and get it right, execute. Sometimes I struggle with that a little bit. Yeah.
So how do you kind of combat that? Is it like reminding yourself? Have you got kind of reminders on game day? Like how do you kind of get 1% better by doing that?
It's my team, if I'm honest. I have people that I turn to, and even the people who aren't normally the ones that give me advice. Sometimes they'll notice what I'm doing and turn around and be like, "Dude, calm down, it's fine." And just knowing that everybody's got my back is huge, and it always just sort of recenters me. They're a great group of girls, and I couldn't do it without them, to be honest.
That's amazing. So who would you say you model your QB style off the most if we were going to put it on an NFL? Or it doesn't even have to be NFL, maybe NWFL.
I mean, it's got to be Drew Brees. He's the guy. He's the guy. So
I knew you were going to.
it's got to be. He's the guy. So I mean, he's also a great example of like he's 6 foot. He's not like massively tall. He isn't super fast. If you watch like any of his run plays, they look stupidly awkward. Like he's not a natural, like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. He doesn't do that stuff, but he reads the game so well. He can extend the plays by making like short movements in and out of the pocket. He knows where his defense is at all times, and his accuracy is just unreal. So
It's disgusting.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
disgusting.
he's the guy. So it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
What I liked most about Drew Brees was his ability. Like he never underestimated how important like team mentality was. He
Yeah.
was always the first guy to like lead the chant and stuff like that. Is that something that's kind of important to you, or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'm still learning. I'm a very passionate person. I'm very competitive. And I don't always get it right. Sometimes it comes out in ways that I'm not particularly proud of. But I will always make sure that my team are happy first and foremost. Like that's what I want. I want them to know that they've done a good job, that I appreciate them, that we all appreciate them. I try my best to notice if someone looks down, like to make sure I say something, or I don't know, just to encourage people for the little things because at the end of the day, it's not a touchdown pass. It could be several blocks on the blind side that make it so that I can throw that touchdown. So without that, I get clattered. So do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's important for me for them to know that I know how much of a good job they do all the time, and I appreciate it. So, I mean, that's all I can do, really, isn't it?
I mean, repeating what Sarah from Titans, Sarah I Love You, says about her relationship with her O-line being the number one most important thing. Would you agree with that, or would you say it's your receivers? Where would you say? Like, what's your mentality approach to kind of your offense?
To be honest with you, I think it's kind of a bit of everything. I think it's communication more than anything. I always encourage everybody, like, even if it's me that they're angry at or me that they're like, you're not doing a good job, like I want them to tell me because I want us to have open communication, whether it's O-line, whether it's my wide receivers or fullback or tight end, whatever. I want them to tell me what they're seeing and be included in like the process of like trying to win games and trying to come up with ways to defeat teams just as much as like the coaches or I am or whatever. So I don't know. It changes. Obviously, it depends. I think, especially on what the team that you're playing put out against you. Sometimes You need your O line a little bit more, and sometimes you need your wide receivers to step up. And so it's all different. And every time I expect the most out of myself. So yeah, I think we work well together because I'm constantly at them to just talk to me, please talk to me, because I can't do it by myself.
Do you find that, like, because you said about being a really good reader of the game and enjoying kind of observing things, do you find that you've got quite a different group of people kind of observing different things, or do you find that you're all kind of in sync when it comes to on game day?
No, I think we're all pretty in sync actually. Like, yeah, we do sort of come up with the same things. I think it's probably because of what I said about the communication, because we're always talking. We're not surprised by things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we don't get like to halftime and then go, oh, maybe someone should switch to the other side or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh no, we've been talking about it every play for the whole game. So yeah, I think we're all pretty in sync and we know what we want to do. It's just a case of trying to figure out how to, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. So come game day, what's it like for you as QB for the Exiles? Kind of, how do you mentally gear up before you even get on the pitch? Like, how do you start that day?
Gosh, I wish I had a better way of doing it, if I'm honest, because it just stresses me out, to be honest. Lots of porridge and then lots of stressing and
Okay.
forgetting things and then turning up and hoping that someone else has got a spare one, which they always do because they know me. So yeah, it's stressful. I think it's a lot of pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I know my teammates put a lot of pressure on themselves as well. We like to win, but we also want to put on a good show. We want to play well. We want to enjoy ourselves. So it's trying to find a balance, isn't it? Because we're lucky that we get to play this wonderful sport with our friends and like our family watching us and stuff. So it's trying to remember it's just a game at the end of the day, but we put our heart and soul into it every time. So yeah, game day can be stressful. Yeah.
Do you find after the first hit you're okay after the first snap, or is it like a maintaining anxiety for the whole of it, and it's like where will this end, and then you're like dissociated for half of it? Because I know that's how I do football.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think I don't know if it's maybe a little bit different with QB because like if you get hit, you don't want to get hit, if that makes sense, because it means that you might have the ball in your hands and then you might fumble it, or your pass might go to the left instead of the right because your hand's been moved. So I'm not like looking for that first hit, which means that sometimes it doesn't come until like the second half or something, and by then I completely forgot that we were playing a contact sport, and then it comes out of nowhere, and I'm just like, whoa, that was steam train. For me, I think I know my teammates definitely feel that way because they're always telling me, don't worry, that first hit and then you'll be fine. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, no worries. When is that coming though? So, yeah, for me, I think it's the pressure's on constantly. I don't think my anxiety goes away until the game's finished, to be honest.
That is such a vibe. Would you say that as a QB then you're more of I'll run out to the sideline, or are you one of those psychopaths that runs into the middle of the field?
I don't know, to be honest. This is probably one of those moments where I dissociated, so I don't know if I remember entirely. I'll have to watch the footage and let you know. Yeah, I don't know. I've got no idea, to be honest.
Because we've got two different ones, because Sinead will run out, but Rach is a psychopath that will run into, like, she thrives off a handoff, like, slamming people to DBs to the floor, like, she thrives off violence.
Has she got some rugby background?
Yeah, like, Rach is something else, so, like, whereas Sarah is an angel who is like, nope, I need to look after my arm, that's it. And so I always find it fascinating, kind of, because for something that is the same position on every team, it's so different because you conduct your offense, and it's just crazy the different approaches to things. So game day is not going well. Do the team collectively kind of band together, like other people on the team that are like, come on, let's focus, or is it mainly the captain's job? Like, how do the Exiles kind of ride the storm?
Good question. I don't know if the Exiles are great at riding the storm, if I'm honest. I think
That's fair.
we're all like incredibly competitive and very passionate people. So um, in the way that that those qualities can make you a good captain and a good leader, they can also mean that you maybe put too much pressure on yourself in circumstances where the right approach is actually just to be like, okay, calm down, it's just a game, let's go out there and enjoy it. But we had the weekend just gone, we had a tournament and played a Hearts, and had a bit of a mess of a first half. And then sort
Okay.
of regrouped at half time and sort of said to each other, like, look, we pay to do this sport. We pay to come here. We like spending time with each other. Let's take all the pressure off and just try some things, like there's try and show off, see what we can do. And yeah, we played a lot better in that second half, like a lot better. I was really proud of them
Amazing.
all. So, and we came together like nothing else. So that'll definitely be a tactic that I'll be using in the future because yeah, nothing else has worked so far. So
But that was amazing though, that like, was it people shifting and having fun, or was it just a case of, did people think, oh, we're not going to win this, let's just focus on us? Like, what was that switch, especially for you as QB?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it was an acknowledgement that we were letting our emotions get in the way of executing plays, and as the QB and a captain, like I have to take responsibility for that first and foremost. The buck stops with me. So my attitude and my emotions can rub off on other people, and if I'm stressing and worrying about every play, then they are too. So I think it kind of got to a point where it was like, well, it can't get any worse. So let's just go and actually play for fun and see what we can do. And because we were doing that, I think we executed things much better because we weren't panicking, because we were just like, let's see what happens. Yeah, so I think it was a switch from probably let's just have fun,
Yeah.
let's play football like we know we can play football, like it's there. We're just not playing it right now, so let's go out and play it.
Yeah, I feel like when you switch to that, I think when the team fully commits to that kind of, okay, we might not win, but let's enjoy it, I
Mhm.
feel like you play healthier, safer football, and
Yes,
then I feel
definitely.
like things become a lot more natural.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you guys took that into game 2 against Norwich, or did you guys switch back to the standard kind of mentality of Exiles?
I think kind of a bit of both, maybe. I think we kind of got stressed again, and we have high expectations, and we wanted to play well. We had a few injuries that sort of happened
Mm.
quite early on in the first game, which didn't help, and we were missing our offensive coach, so that was difficult. But we sort of went out and said, like we showed what we could do in the second half against Hearts. Let's try and take that into this game and keep it up. And I think we did. But Norwich gave us a really good game, so fair play to them.
I always feel like your league is very close. It's very
Mm.
close and contested. Like, you never know who's going to come away with a win from you guys. Like, I know, did Norwich had a good tournament last tournament, but it's you in Hearts at the moment. Like, it looks like you're on par for, or have you guys already qualified for finals?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, no
I
idea.
think I think Hearts might have qualified.
Mhm.
Maybe. Well, I'm just going to quickly consult Inside Brickroll because I don't do my own scores.
It would be nice to know if we already qualified. That would be lovely.
So they've done the graphic already. But it says that you already are.
Cool.
Yes, it says you have already qualified.
There you go.
So
Breaking news.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good to
Uh,
hear. So we'll see you in Cheshire then, right?
yeah, well, if we win, I still think if we've got a lot of things to sort out as well. So I completely, what you're saying about your Hertz game kind of resonated a lot with our last tournament. I think
Yeah.
the team kind of the wheels fell off quite a
Mhm.
lot and things fell apart. And it's really hard when you're so passionate about the team. Not that I knew anything about it, because I was on planet, I was circling the atmosphere in concussion land,
Right.
with
Yeah.
the game being streamed and my arse hanging out, throwing up into a bin. So
Wow.
thanks for your maidens for that one. But the the sentiment is something I completely get. Like, it's really hard, and I think it's really hard because I think, like, I don't know you, but I can kind of resonate with that. You know, when you're in that position and you're in that, it's like it's really hard to kind of remove yourself from that and be a bit objective,
Yeah.
because when the whole team's feeling it, and I feel
Yeah.
like there's an extra pressure for you as captain. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I think this year more than ever, like I sort of made a deal with my friend who normally plays wide receiver, but she's having a baby this year, so she couldn't.
Congratulations to your
Yeah, we're
friend.
excited. But she made me promise that I was going to commit fully. You know, every training session I was going to be there, and I wasn't going to be hungover. I wasn't going to be tired. I wasn't going to be grumpy. I was going to be ready and willing, and that's what I've done. And I've noticed a difference with how much commitment I've put in this year, like compared to last year or the season before, in terms of like how much more confident I feel going up to like my teammates and saying, you had a good game, you did this well done, I'm proud of you, like stuff like that, because I see them every week. I'm there all the time. They can ask me whatever. I ask them so many questions, it's stupid. Yeah, so it made a massive difference for sure. And I can't actually remember what the question was, so hopefully that
No,
answered it.
I mean, we could go, like, that's a more important point. So your friend sounds like an absolute queen.
Yeah,
Where
it is,
did
yeah.
this come from, this kind of holding you to account? Because I think this is really important. Kind of, where did this come from, and why have you decided to stick with it?
I think so. As I mentioned earlier, last season I didn't really have a position. I played backup QB and then like a backup wide receiver. So at the beginning of this season, like when we were in the preseason, I decided I was going to switch to defense and play DB. So I
Okay.
started training as a DB, and it's hard work. You know, I listened to your last episode, and yeah, DB is hard work, man. She's going to be good if she
Mm.
thinks it's easy. So. um, but yeah, when they said to me that our QB was moving up to Peterborough to play nines, and they wanted me to play it, it was a question of not whether I wanted it, but whether I wanted it enough. If that makes sense.
Ooh, okay.
Because it's a big position, it's a big role to fill, and it's a big commitment. And I wanted to be the very best for this team because that's exactly what they deserve. Like they don't deserve anything less. So that was me holding myself to account, and then my friend just happens to be a little bit more persuasive than my own brain. So.
But that's amazing that you surrounded yourself with people that kind of want you to bring the best out in you as well. I guess for someone that doesn't know the Exiles, kind of, if I was to turn up to a training session and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this Northerner doing here?" What? How would you describe the culture of like training sessions and of the team? Like, if you could bottle it, because you said that kind of you. It sounds like you've got quite a few people that care about winning and success. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think it comes across in a way that's like they're not judgmental or critical in any way. I don't think. I mean, I've had days where I couldn't throw, for shit, and no one has said anything to me, and I've kind of looked at them and gone, "No, today you can say something to me if you want to. Come on." But they're just really supportive, and they'll just sort of say, "No, you've got this. We know you've got this," and everyone's like that with everybody. So, yeah, as much as that winning mentality and competitiveness that comes out, it normally is reserved for game days. Like we don't sort of our training sessions are very friendly and very like we look after each other. We want to have fun. We want to learn. That's the biggest thing I think with the Exiles. We want to learn the sport and like how to play each position and how to play it really well and yeah, just everything. We're constantly asking questions. Why does it matter if we do that? Like, what if we do this? And I think that's, for me anyway, when I've got such like an analytical brain, like that's ideal. So yeah.
So do you start like the season with a very set kind of purpose and game plan? Because I know, for example, the Titans are moving to a model where they have like a set, everything they do is to these three principles. Whereas Shield Maidens are like, I want everyone to have a nice time.
Mhm.
Devils wanted to go undefeated. Like, do the
Mhm.
Exiles have like an overall season game plan, or is it just be successful?
I think if I was going to like sum it up, it would always be kind of like what you mentioned earlier, briefly, that you said 1% better. Like every time you turn up, like just that little bit extra, whether it's effort or like, I don't know, motivation, or how nice you are to people around you. Anything you can add to a training session, like that's what we want. We want people to turn up and put their voice in so that we can make the Exiles what it is, which is a combination of all these wonderful people. It's not just about our head coach or our offensive coach or defensive coach or me. It's not about any of us. It's about all of us individually, and we can't win without each individual turning up and saying their piece. So yeah, there's always a space for you as a person on the Exiles. That's what I would say. No matter what you're like or how you'd like to communicate, we'll sort of cater to you. We've got people on our team who are very loud. We've got people on our team who are quite quiet. Their voice means the same thing, and we'll listen to them in the way that they want to tell us, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. This
Mm.
sounds like a really important culture, because I feel like it happens so quickly when loud voices kind of dominate the conversation. So it sounds incredible that you've got kind of such a cohesive kind of listening environment. So did you yourself have any goals for the season? I know your friend just wanted you to turn up and be accountable. Kind of, did you have like a certain touchdown completion or any goals you'd not achieved as a QB before?
I didn't want any interceptions, but that one's gone off the list, so gonna have to start again. Oh well. No, not really, to be honest. Other than that, it was just to go out there and play well and finish every tournament like not hating each other. Like still friends, still having a good time, and not just because we won. Because it's easy to love each other when we win. It's a lot harder when you lose. So I think that's the thing. It definitely brought me a lot closer to these people this year. Probably because I'm showing up and being like the best version of myself, which is ultimately what I want them all to do and what they want me to do as well.
That's got to feel good for you, being able to say out loud that, I'm committing to something. Is that something that you've not done with sport before, that you've kind of
Yeah, I think
gone
it's
all in?
yeah. I think it's that sort of, I'm a bit scatty as it comes anyway.
Vibes.
Yeah. But also I think there's a part of me that's like scared of failing, and if I don't try 100%, then if I fail I can be like, well, I wasn't really trying anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Fair.
So it's a lot scarier this season when I know I've put my heart and soul on the line, because I can't blame it on anything. There's nothing to say, well, I didn't try, I didn't turn up, I didn't know the game plan, I didn't know the playbook. I know it all. So, and if a bad game happens, it's either because we folded or the other team had a good day. Most of the time, it's a bit of both.
But I guess if we're going down that road, like, what was your definition of failure before this season, and has that changed?
I think it's definitely changed. I think before it was probably a bit more individualistic. Like I was looking at myself and my performance, and obviously as part of a wider team, I wanted to play well so that the team played well. But I could come away from things. I'm not proud to say it, but I could come away from games knowing I played well, but the team lost, thinking I'm fine with it. And I didn't want that mentality anymore. Like that's not really. I don't think it's conducive to like a team sport. And like holding myself accountable was me saying, you're going to turn up and you're playing your skin, like out of your skin, for those people around you, not for yourself. So like yeah, by the end of the latest matches I've played, I can't even remember what I've done. It's a case of we're all sweating and panting, and no one can breathe, no one can look at each other, but we can say that we died for each other out there on that field, and that's what success is for me now, definitely.
That sounds like absolutely phenomenal, and it sounds like even though sometimes the scoreline isn't reflecting it, it sounds like you're succeeding every game. Would you say that's fair to say for yourself? Because that's a pretty massive shift
I mean, yeah, I
for
think
you.
I feel like I've grown up a lot in like a year.
It
Um,
sounds like it as well.
yeah,
Like, holy
yeah.
shit.
This sport has done a lot for me, and like I know it's done a lot for my teammates as well. Like I think watching them get so much joy out of it, and it's like it clicking for me this season. Like if I do certain things and if I treat it a certain way, then I can get that same joy. Yeah, it's been amazing, and I can't. Yeah, I have no complaints. I'm very proud of like our team and everything that we've accomplished and everything we will accomplish. But as well, like on a personal level, yeah, I feel like I've got a whole new reason to be there, a new motivation and a new um, strength, if you like, inside me to play. So yeah.
You know what? I've got nothing but respect for you for, being so vulnerable about this, because it's really raw, but also like fair play to you as someone that, I kind of resonate with the anxiety of game day,
Hmm.
but then to kind of want your team, and they become your family,
They
to
do, yeah.
succeed. It's like it adds a layer of anxiety to it and a
Hmm.
bit of rawness. And how do you deal with that after game day? Because I know after game day I feel so burnt out and so like because it is a
Hmm.
lot. How
Hmm.
do you kind of look after your mental health and well-being afterwards, given that you've not been sacked or hit, touch wood?
I mean, I still do get sacked. Don't get me wrong. It just happens normally in the second half. So when I'm getting tired and a bit slow. um, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really have a strategy or anything. We all check in on each other. We've got like a big group chat where we all sort of see how we are. The few of us who are quite like, health conscious will sort of be like, stretch, hydrate, don't forget this, don't forget that. We'll check in on people who had injuries and see how they're doing. But mostly it's just sort of recuperation, isn't it? I suppose everybody's different. For me, I just sort of lock myself away until I feel better. And
Okay.
that can take a few days. I've got a good support system, so I'm lucky in that way. But then I always look forward to the next training session because I know that we're all going to have a lot to say and that we can get to work again.
So are you kind of I need to sit in bed with the blinds closed, or are you kind of let's go out and go walks, or like what do you do for your well-being?
The first one probably, yeah, yeah. Lots of
Outstanding.
yeah, lots of
Outstanding.
reruns of TV shows and not very loud noises for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
What's your favourite go-to show, just out of curiosity?
Oh, I mean, The Office is always a good shout, isn't it? It's got to be.
American or British?
It's American. Don't hate me.
Nice. No,
Okay,
it's the
good,
better one.
good.
It's the
It
better
is.
one.
It is. Okay, good.
Superior comedy. Okay, that's awesome. So, who do you go to as a kind of like honest reflection of your performance? Because I'm kind of getting the vibe we're very similar,
Hmm.
and I don't trust myself
Hmm.
to be kind and honest about how I am. I'm quite a perfectionist,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I kind of always feel like I could do better more. Who is it around you that you kind of trust to be like, you did this well, or actually you could have done this better?
Yeah. I mean, I resonate with what you just said. I'm definitely a perfectionist as well. Like, I could have a flawless game and still be like, there's so many things I did wrong. There's so many ways I
Mhm.
can improve. But probably like my friend I was talking about earlier, who holds me to account. She's also very good at being objective. She'll tell me how it is, whether that's good or bad. Unfortunately for me. yeah, I respect her opinion, and she's been doing it for a long time. So her experience and her knowledge of the game and like what good looks like, if that makes sense, like
Yeah.
from the sideline, from on the pitch, like from everywhere, is invaluable.
That's awesome. So, I guess, what advice would you give to rookie Cleo?
Oh gosh,
I told you it's like football therapy. It's
yeah,
very.
it feels like football. I'm gonna need like 3 days in a dark room after this. Yeah,
I'm
trust
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm ready for it. What would I give? I think my advice would be commit. Would be like, look, you've made a choice to be part of this wonderful team, and they'll look after you if you look after them. And the only way you can do that is by showing up and being present, and saying yes to everything and trying your best. And my best isn't always perfect, but showing up is half the battle.
So, I guess, what's your definition of perfect in regards to football?
Oh, don't start because we'll be here forever. You know, yeah.
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 So, when I joined football, it was the first ever sport I did where like film is God, and
Yeah.
it is so fucking brutal to watch. Like, it is so unforgiving,
Mm.
and it's like ammunition for the anxiety,
Yeah,
but it's like you can hyper focus on it.
Mhm.
And I am a person that I can have an amazing game, but if one person says one thing that I didn't do right, I will hyper focus on that.
Mhm.
Have you learned how to watch tape more objectively, or are you still team? Let's hyper focus.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in a weird way, because in every other aspect, I definitely focus like on my mistakes. But film for me, it doesn't feel like it's me for some reason. So I kind of
That's
watch it and I'm
amazing.
just like, oh, that QB could do that better. I'm like, that is me, but it doesn't always feel like it. So yeah, I guess I can kind of step away from it, which is really weird because that's the only thing I can do that with. But luckily, I guess, because this is a very film focused sport, isn't it? So yeah, thank God.
That's amazing, though. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't always. I think it's sometimes maybe it doesn't always help because I don't know if I actually learn things sometimes. I don't know if I'm actually listening to the advice that's been given or what I'm telling myself to do. But yeah, it's
So
helpful in terms of moving.
would you say that you kind of benefit more from run-throughs or scrim?
Run throughs definitely, yeah. Scrim, yeah, definitely. I think we tend to set up and like try and make our defense sort of go against us in ways that we've seen on footage that other teams have done. If that makes sense.
Oh, scout. It's
Yeah,
so helpful just to
yeah.
have friendly. I feel like mentally it helps me because it's not like people trying to kill me running at me. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, there are a couple of people on our team who would probably kill me if they had full run out, but you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of more. I'm definitely a physical learner. I can't like
Yeah.
listen to people telling me stuff for sure.
No, I'm exactly the same. Yeah. I need to see it happen in front of me, and then I'm like, okay, clicks, and then I'll do it that way every time after that until someone shows me a different way, and then So agreed.
It's nice to know I'm speaking to someone very similar.
Yeah.
So you said that kind of football's kind of given you a lot, and kind of you feel like you've matured in ways. Kind of what do you feel like football has taught you that you've been able to apply, or even what you've experienced through football that's changed you as a person?
I think it's maybe like knowing that you've got that sort of fire in you. I think anyone that plays American football, especially like, women, because people don't know a lot about it, we kind of sit there in our day lives or whatever we're doing, and we know we've got this little secret inside us that's like, I'm made of fire, like, so don't mess with me. And it's a cool little secret to have, and I think that's that's awesome, and it's made me a lot braver in situations where maybe before I wouldn't have stood up for myself or I wouldn't have stood up for people that I cared about. But I'm like, I know that I can do this now because I go and hit people, on the weekends. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
That's amazing, though. That's
Mm.
so cool. I love that football brings such a diverse community of people.
Absolutely.
Like the people that we speak to or play against that you would have never have met.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like it makes you able to communicate with loads of different types of people. Do you feel like that's true?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think I would have met any of the people I play with in my natural environment, and not because I don't go out much, but because I just I don't. Yeah, I think when especially when you get to like your late 20s, your 30s, you sort of think, this is my life now. I'm comfortable. I'm not gonna like overextend. I'm not going clubbing
Mm-hmm.
anymore. We're not doing that sort of stuff. So I've met people who are so different to me and who had such different lives to me, and that's wonderful. I think it's great, and we can learn from each other. It's pretty cool. Like they're all wonderful, so I can't fault them.
So, what's been your kind of proudest moment, personally or even as a team, this season so far?
The home tournament, I think, our first tournament, which is mad because we never normally play well in the first tournament, but we played really well, and I had a lot of my friends and family there to support me, and it was a big deal
It
for
was
me.
amazing.
Yeah, I think it was like the little girl in me was really excited because when I was little, when you're growing up, like people don't really come and watch women's sport as much as they do men's sports.
Mm.
So there were times I was playing football in empty stadiums or tennis with no one around and stuff like that, and it's sort of nice to feel like I had so many people there who were all supporting me. And it wasn't just my friends and family; like all my teammates, friends and family were like every single time one of us touched the ball or made a good tackle, it was like it was crazy. It was just it was brilliant. So that's a highlight for me, which isn't even really a personal highlight. It's kind of a testament to our friends and family and the atmosphere that we created that day.
That's got to have been quite healing as well to kind of, the little girl in you being cheered on as,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
exactly.
as
That's
quarterback
exactly.
as well. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely some trajectory there that I'm proud of. So yeah,
Oh, can I just say another bit of stalking? The t-shirt that your sister made,
yeah, yeah,
that was so fucking wholesome. Like,
yeah, yeah. They like to do that just to embarrass me. So yeah,
no, it's really fucking cute. Like, we love a supportive family, so absolutely. That's wholesome as fuck. So, final tournament is weeks away? 3 weeks away?
yeah, something like that. Very a bit.
Mm.
Mm,
The odd season is so aggressively short, it's unreal.
yeah, yeah.
What are your kind of goals going in? Who are you playing next?
I'm not actually entirely sure. I think it might be Hearts and Norwich. I might be
Okay.
wrong, but I think our goals. I mean, Hearts have given us two really good games, so hopefully we can have another really good game and see how it goes. And Norwich have been like super good. We love those girls; they're really friendly and super nice. So just seeing them again and getting to kick it will be nice. To be honest with you, just having a good time. It's the last one. Some of our team are away, so they can't make it, and the ones who are away in the last one are back. So it's kind of like changing of the guard, and we'll just ball out. We'll have fun, and then we'll leave it all for finals. Yeah,
I think you are doing phenomenal.
thank
And
you.
um I think the progress you've made personally, like, giant and absolutely overshadows any kind of other targets you may have. And I know it's easier said than done to be like, oh, focus on the bigger story when you kind of drilled into you to focus on the minute things. But I
Yeah,
think you're doing phenomenal, and
thank
the
you.
people that you've surrounded yourself with are absolutely amazing. So what's your friend's name, the pregnant lady?
Sophie.
Sophie, you are an absolute goddess. Absolute goddess.
I love that. Yeah,
No, seriously, like, it is so important to have like people in your life that hold you accountable, and her just being like, turn up for yourself, and
mm,
that relationship you two have, and you're just like, yeah, okay, full send, and just they're just like, they're so important, and it's so like, it's incredible. So
I
yeah,
appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, have you got any goals, I guess, 9s next season.
I mean,
maybe?
we would love to do that. I think we'd be surprisingly good at it. I think we're good at like short gains. So I think moving from the 20 yards to the 10 yard gains, I think that would suit us quite well. And we've got people willing to play every position. So hopefully it's just a case of getting enough people to sign up early enough so that we can protect the health of our players, because at the end of the day that's the most important thing. Like there's no point in destroying our bodies for no reason. We've all got fat family and friends and jobs to get back to, so that's the most important thing.
Plus special teams.
Yes, plus that. Yes, yeah.
Special teams, special plays. But no, I completely agree. I hope BAFA relaxes the health checks, because having them so early on and having people needing to be signed on so early is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's another issue for another day. Let me get my soapbox out. So, have you got any leaving sentiments before we end the podcast?
No, just thank you, because you're making a platform for us to speak about something that we love, and this didn't exist before. So everything that you're doing, keep doing it, keep smashing it, and we'll be your biggest fans from here till the stratosphere.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for being so vulnerable. Please do a lot of aftercare of hiding in the cave.
Yeah.
Desensitization. But thank you for coming on. I wish you all the success in the world, and I'm really, really proud of you for how you've opened up and said about your growth. Like, it's not easy. It's really not, especially when I know we're on the same wavelength of kind of how hard it is to kind of give yourself a little bit of credit. So yeah, I'm really proud of you, dude. You're absolutely killing it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours too. So we'll keep looking after each other.
Oh, absolutely. And hopefully we get to meet in finals.
Yeah, that'll be good. End of August. Cool. Sounds good.
So, I've been Bo Snow.
I've been Cleo.
And this has been Lids Off. Thank you very much.